Okay, I think we're live.
Sweet.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Fuck Fear Friday. Normally it's Jonna and I, but today Sarah is going to be joining us which I'm so excited about, because Shauna is on a much needed vacation, hanging out with her puppy in the woods by some water. Welcome to episode 3 of Fuck Fear Friday. Normally it's Jonna and I.
Sorry. Don't mind me.
We're sharing episodes in our groups here real quick.
Yes.
So what we are going to talk about today is we asked our group the Rising She Tribe what they really wanted to hear from us today, or what they've been struggling with this week. And they a lot of it came up like self-sabotage, comparison, fear of failure, judgment from others. So we kind of wanted to go into that today. I think that's a great topic. I feel like a lot of women struggle with that, especially in the spiritual entrepreneur world. There's a lot of amazing entrepreneurs out there, and it's hard sometimes to not compare your journey to somebody else's. So Sarah, do you want to take it away and go into it a little bit?
Yeah, so I think just as women in general, we compare ourselves to each other, unfortunately, and sometimes we let jealousy play a factor. Sometimes, like you said, we compare the rate of our path to somebody else that we're looking up to. So instead of looking up to that person as like, oh, I'm following like right behind them, I cannot wait until I get to that point in my career, that point in my life, or that point in my marriage, or whatever it is, we let the jealousy kick in and we're like, why am I not there yet? I want to already be like 10 steps ahead of the game. And then we start to come down on ourselves, and we do that self-sabotage, and we start to second guess ourselves. And all we're doing is hindering ourselves, and blocking what we could really be, excelling at. And I think sometimes that becomes the dream killer for us. If we want to have this business of our own, whether it's, network marketing or online courses, or even like a brick and mortar business or whatever it is, and we let other people determine our worth and whether we can step into that dream, or we let them burst our bubble and we let the naysayers come in and get into our brains, and then we start to second guess if we can do it, which is crazy, because of course we can do it.
I totally agree. And I mean, coming from a place where I was a huge self-sabotager for a long time, I'd get really excited about something and I'd be all in it. And then the fear would start creeping in and the judgment would start creeping of myself. And I would tell myself, well, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm smart enough. I don't know if I'm cut out. This is too hard. I don't, all of these crazy mean girl thoughts. And then I would totally sabotage myself, and then I'd have so much regret afterwards, or guilt of, oh my gosh, I spent all that money on this course or this or whatever. School was a big one for me, university. Never follow through, although I did get my associate's degree, but I don't know. It was just one of those things where I couldn't get out of my head with it. I really think it's like a mind game that we play with ourselves. And we are our own worst enemies. We are our biggest blocks in being able to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I feel like instead of, spending that time learning the skills, so there's two types of people. There's the people that will see this dream, see this vision, see this idea of what they want to bring into their lives, or like a different path they want to take. And then they'll let the crazy little thoughts start to creep in, and they'll be like, well, I don't know how to do that, so I guess I can't do that. And they'll just shut the whole idea down. And then you have the other type of person that's like, okay, well, I don't know how to do A, B, and C, but instead of saying I can't, let's go ahead and say, how can I? Let's go figure it out. Let's go figure out how to make this happen, how to learn the skills that I need to learn to be able to step into my purpose and step into what I'm meant to be here to do, instead of just sabotaging yourself, basically, letting the fears sink in. And the fear of failure is something that some of the women in our tribe were bringing up too.
Are we there? Hello, Krista.
Hey, Krista. Yeah, you were paused for a sec where I was.
My internet's being on Tuesday, apparently. Crazy. So yeah, and I love that the fear of failure. And the thing is like so many people are scared to fail, but it's like without failures in your life though, you're never gonna learn anything. I mean, that's where a lot of your lessons come from, are from your failures. And if you are too scared to go outside of your comfort zone, or too scared of like the actual failure, I mean, I don't even think failure is a thing. I think it's just
a learning curve.
It's a learning curve. It didn't work out. That's okay. Like, that doesn't mean that I'm this huge failure at life. It's just, it didn't work out. What lesson did I learn from this, and how can I make it better next time? I think that's the thing. So if any of you like that are listening, if you have any, things that have happened in your life where you felt like you've self-sabotaged yourself, or, something that you really wanted to do, but you didn't do it because you were afraid of what other people might think about it or their judgment of you, please let us know and comment below. We'd love to know.
Yeah. Well, and I think something that came up when I was reading the post of some of the women in our group and talking about fear of failure and wanting to step out of the place that they're in, stepping out of their 9 to 5 and like pursuing what their dream is, but they kept holding themselves back. And yeah, there's that possibility of what if you go after your dream and it doesn't work out, and you maybe are so afraid to step away from this like secure job. But that's just something that we've been conditioned to believe. Our jobs aren't that secure. Our 9 to 5, our little places of business that we've been working in, where we clock in and clock out, we are just as disposable there as we are anywhere. Unfortunately, you could get fired tomorrow, you could get laid off tomorrow. So you can't live in this mentality of like, what if I, want to do this amazing thing, but I'm afraid to leave my job, because I've totally been there. Rosemary, like, this is like a big transition that I'm having to like really step into, to say, okay, it's okay to leave this job behind when the time is right, and I'm going to be okay, and my purpose is going to be supported, because I could go into work tomorrow and they could be like, sorry, we're laying people off, bye, and it could happen just as easy as that. And so to think that
so it can happen any day. Yeah. It can
happen any day. And so it's like, why not build your own business? Why not build your own legacy? That's what we did. Nobody can take this away from us. We have built it, and it is ours, and we own it, and we get to move forward with it. And I think women need to step up and realize that they are capable, and at least their future is more in their hands and not the hands of their boss's boss, who could just see them as like a number, which is crazy.
Right. And my thing is, I feel like people, it is fear that really, hello, Shayna. So I really do feel like it is, people stay in their jobs and they're so miserable.
Yeah.
But the reason why they don't leave, though, is because of the fear. They're, the fear of this, the paycheck, maybe, fear of the money, fear that they're not going to be able to find something else better, or fear that they just aren't good enough to leave. They're not good. Like, this is just how life is. And they settle, and they just, but the thing is like, if you break out of that mold though, I mean, not everybody, see, here's the thing is like, not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody needs to leave their corporate job to, do that if that's not what their calling is, right? But at least be in a job that you fucking love, that calls to your passion and your purpose, and you're not living in that fearful state all the time, and it's something that fills you. I just feel like there's so many people in America that are just dead. I mean, inside, like, they're just zombies walking around, because
that's why the majority of heart attacks happen on a Monday morning. People don't want to fucking go to work on Monday because they hate their job. They hate it. It just is like they get stuck in that routine, and they're just doing it because it's what they've done for so long, and they are just so afraid to like step out of their comfort zone, get uncomfortable enough to try something different, try something that might actually fill up their heart, or at least look for it, at least search for that purpose. If you feel like, there's this purpose out there, but you don't know what it is, start searching for it, start following the people that really speak to you with what fills your heart, not just your job that you're dealing with every single day. So,
and as far as, like, self-sabotage,
if you can, oh, there you are. There you are.
Anyway, I was talking about self-sabotage. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I was saying, as far as like self-sabotage and like ways that you can kind of get out of that mindset, is, I did a lot of personal development. I did a lot of mindset work, a lot of knowing that I am worthy, I am capable, I can be successful, all of those things. And it takes a lot of time, but it's dedicated. You have to be dedicated to yourself to snap out of that mindset. Meditation is a great practice to do that as well. I mean, I know we talk about this all the time, you guys, but like it's a huge part of our journey, all three of us, Sarah, Shauna, and I, as far as, of how we were able to really step into our purpose and not be afraid of the things that, not let fear dictate our path, because we know what our path is, because we've seen it, we've connected with it within our meditations. And, I mean, what would you say would be like your biggest tip as far as, really getting out of that self-sabotage mode?
I think it's completely a mindset thing. So if you can get into a meditation practice, it helps decipher what's really in your heart versus the mind chatter from your ego. And so it's really hard sometimes for people to pick between the two. They don't know what their truth is. They don't know what to trust. They start to not trust themselves and what their heart is telling them to do. And they get it mixed up between the head and the heart. And that's unfortunate because usually your head is not telling you the right way to go. And usually, we always see this ego as like a negative thing and a bad thing. And really it's there in its own little entity to try and protect us. It's trying to protect us from possibly getting hurt, things like that. But it's actually hindering us. Hey, Heather, how are you, friend?
Hi, Heather.
So I think getting into meditation, then you can really start to find this space where you are connecting with your truth, you're connecting with your authenticity, you are owning who you really are, and you can easily kind of let go of all of the other BS that people are trying to put on top of you. And, and you can, it's an amazing difference. And then, like you said, like personal growth, like motivational stuff. And it's not something you just do one time. This is like a daily thing. So like personal growth and motivation and meditation and like mindset stuff, it's like a shower. Like if you miss a couple days, you're going to freaking stink. You have to like keep doing it every single day because the world is going to keep coming at you. You've got to be able to like brush all that stuff off and just go forward.
So true though too. Like if I miss a couple days of meditation or something, like I can definitely tell, because I'm just like, oh my God, like it's hard for me to tell the difference between what's going on up here and what everything else is,
Yeah.
Just a minute, honey. Oh my gosh, my little boy. But so what I was going to say too is, journaling is a great way along with meditation. Journaling, getting all of those feelings out, getting them out on paper so they're not up here like swarming around and swimming in your brain, and then you just go, it's like, it's a terrible cycle because then you just go around and around and around and you continue to feed it more and more and more, and then before you know it, it's this huge, like thing. It made it
anxiety.
Yeah, it turns into anxiety because it may have been like a little thought, but then the more you think about it, and the more it like builds, and then all of a sudden you're just like, it just explodes, and there's a huge, anxiety. Definitely, I think that's where anxiety comes from, because fear and anxiety are so, connected. I mean, there's a difference between like, okay, I'm scared of heights or something, like, I don't know, like that's more of like a phobia, but when you dwell on it, then it's like it turns into anxiety, and then anxiety can turn into panic, and then next thing you know, you're like in full on fear and flight fear, what is it?
Fight or flight.
Flight response. Oh my God. So I just think it's like one of those things that it can just totally escalate if you're not in the right mindset to take care of it.
Yeah. And it's like, what are we feeding ourselves to? It's like we have to think about what we do want and not think about what we don't want. So if we're like, I don't want to be scared, I don't want to be stuck in my job, I don't want to do this, you're thinking about what you don't want, so you're going to keep getting more of what you don't want. So switch it and shift it and say, you know what do I want? Okay, I want to live in this area of the neighborhood. I want to have this type of career. I want to have this type of loving relationship, and really just decide what you want and start telling yourself that all day, every day, because that's what you're going to keep attracting. So I think people get it backwards, and they're like, why am I getting more piles of crap like on top of me? And it's because they keep thinking about what they don't want, and it keeps coming and coming and coming because they're dwelling on it, and it's snowballing, and it's just attracting more of it because like attracts like. So yeah, I think we need to get into Yeah, we got to get in these totally different mindsets and just really like harp on what we do want and celebrate what you do want. Think of how you're going to feel when you step into your purpose and when you grow your business and when you let that anxiety go and wherever you want to see yourself as your true authentic self, like just own what it's going to feel like when you're there, and it's going to happen so much faster.
Yeah, for sure. Visualization is such a powerful tool to, like actually visualize it.
Yeah.
What do you have, like, let's talk about judgment of others too. I mean, I think that's definitely a mindset thing too. And for me, it kind of came to a point where I really like the saying, it's like what somebody thinks of me is really none of my business. Because honestly, I mean, does it really matter what they think about you? I mean, in the long term, like in hindsight, I mean, it really doesn't. And the thing is the more you are living in your authentic truth, the more that you are doing the things that are part of your purpose and they are your mission, you're going to be attracting so many people in your life that are positive that the naysayers are going to be very few and far between because you're not going to be interacting with those people anymore. So I feel like the more you step into your purpose and the more you allow judgment not to really affect you, it doesn't really affect you anymore. You know, I mean, you may have one here and there, like, you know, like come across and then whatever. But I mean, I just feel like it's not really even a thing for me. I mean, I guess I don't even really deal with it. I know a lot of people do, but I just think like the more you're authentic, it's more of a what do I want to say, a mutual respect. Like even though maybe you not agree with everything that you're saying, but they're like, wow, like at least she has the balls to like be in her purpose, you know. Dye your hair purple or, you know, shave your head or whatever it is, you know, whatever you're doing, I just feel like the more authentic you are, the less people judge.
Well, and when you just stop, when you stop caring so much about what they think, because you're like the only true relationship is the relationship with yourself and your higher self. And that's the only one that matters. And to let other people's opinions of you and judgments of you dictate your next actions, you're completely giving your power away. Why would you ever give your power away? And that's something that we like hone in so strongly with our course and with the women in our tribe, is to own your power and respect yourself enough to speak your truth and not let other people tear you down. Because at the end of the day, when you want to, you know, explode your business and you want to step forward and you want to be present, like you're in your social media and you want to make a difference in other people's lives, and maybe, you know, Sue and Bob and Sally don't understand that, and so they kind of start trying to burst your bubble. Well, guess what? They're not fucking paying your bills at the end of the day. You know, they don't care if your electricity gets paid, and so it doesn't matter to them if you stay in your corporate job where you're safe. It's because you're making them uncomfortable because they're still stuck in their job. And so they're kind of poking like holes in your little, you know, bubble of dreams. And it's because they are feeling off. They're feeling the distance. They're feeling the contrast that you're creating by trying to step into your place of power. And so that's the only reason that they're, you know, trying to knock you down.
Yeah. And I definitely find the people that judge others so much, I mean, they're like the most unhappiest of where they're at. And it comes out of a place, I think, of jealousy sometimes, and not jealousy, but just a lack of understanding. Like they just might not understand what you're doing. And it's like, but then they see the progression of you though, right? And they see like how much more happy you, these things seem to be aligning in your life. And they're like, well, what the hell? Like, why can't I have that? You must be really fucking lucky to have that come into you, or, you know, whatever, some snarky comment that they have, you know, but it's like, no, not really. It's taken a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people see the progress when you're up here. So when you watch somebody on stage, or you watch somebody doing a presentation, or you watch where they're at, and you're like, wow, like, you know, how it must be amazing that to just be born with this incredible confidence. Well, no, you don't know what they've gone through to get there. You don't know the trenches that they've gone through. You don't know the mountains that they've climbed. You don't know the hours of personal healing and personal work that's taken place in private so that they could become this amazing force of power in public. And so it's like, before we get quick to judge, figure out what it took for them to get there. Because if you want to be there, then you find the steps.
Right. Yeah, authentic, I don't think of that.
Oh, you cut out. I'm sorry.
Krista said, or perceived judgments. When I'm authentic, I don't think of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. When you're like really in that place of your own truth and your own authenticity, other people could come at you with like, you know, bombs blazing, and you're just gonna like let it slough off. Like it's, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah. I know, because I really think when you get to that point, it's like it doesn't bother because you are totally in your power, and you know the impact that you're making on other people's lives and the impact that it's making on you as a whole. And so when you finally get to this point where it's like, yes, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I am living my authentic self. I am connected to myself and my higher self. You know, and it's all flowing. I mean, you just, yeah, it's like the judgments, like, and maybe that's what I'm saying is like the judgments. I don't see them because I don't, and if I don't even acknowledge them really because it's not something that, I mean, it doesn't bother me anymore, you know, that it used to. And
yeah.
It used to really bother me what other people thought. And, you know, if they said one thing about it and stew on it and they would, you know,
dwell on it.
Dwell, you know, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing that for? What a waste of my time.
Well, because as humans, like we just hold so much baggage. We're the only mammals that hold on to emotions and baggage for like months upon years. You know, we're the only mammals that hold on to like resentment. We're not staying in the now moment, you know, enough of the time and just letting all that stuff go. And we just carry it and carry it and carry it till it weighs us down completely. And it's freaking crazy. We have to stop.
Yeah. So do you have anything else to say about, to kind of wrap it up, as far as like comparison goes, and maybe just some advice around that as far as just knowing that it's okay a different space in you and to not compare yourself, because I back when we are comparing.
Yeah, I think just whenever you start to see yourself comparing yourself to somebody else because maybe you're feeling like a little bit of jealousy, just know that you are seeing that person on that path because it's the path that you want, you know? And so figure out what it took for them to get there. Use that person as a mentor, start to follow them, start to engage in what they do, take the steps, reach out to them and say, how did you get from point A to point B to point C? And not assume that they just stepped into that role, and be willing to do the work behind closed doors to get yourself there, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to move forward and step out of that fear and out of that jealousy and out of that comparison and start to appreciate like the powerful women that you look up to. You know, we look up to like people like Gabrielle Bernstein and people like that. And it's like, you're not going to watch her, you know, do this amazing video and be like, oh, I wish I was her. Like she's, you know, has everything, blah, blah, blah. You look at her and be like, wow, what a powerful, incredible woman with this amazing advice, this amazing story. And I cannot wait until like I'm at that point, you know, and just look at it with gratitude that you're even like having these mentors to look up to. And so I think it's just shifting your perception of other people and not be in comparison mode, but be in gratitude mode. And then you're going to get more of what you want.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think Emily Williams, so I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she's a really amazing woman entrepreneur, and she coaches other women to build their businesses and whatnot and become better coaches. And I'm taking one of her courses right now. And she talks about like jealousy and comparison. And she's like, you know, I really switched the way I thought about it, because now when I look at somebody and I'm jealous of what they want, it's not because I don't like them or I wish ill on them or I don't want them to experiencing, you know, what they're doing. It's because I want that too for myself. And a lot of times she's like, now it's like, I'm grateful to them. And what, thank you for putting this out here. Thank you for being what I want for my life.
Yeah.
I find myself being jealous of somebody, and you know, it's like it's not a negative feeling for her anymore. It's more of a, you know, it's a gratefulness that being like, great, now I know what's out there. Like now I know what I can achieve, and you look at it a completely different way. And so I thought that was really cool, because I feel like, you know, women in general, regardless of if you're in the business world or not, it's always a game of comparison, and you know, and then it turns into nasty stuff, and like it just escalates because then you get jealous and blah blah blah. But it's like, as women, we should be supporting each other. And I mean, that's fucking crazy. I mean,
well, and I'm going to say that's a great It's a great point, because find a tribe that supports you, you know? So if you feel like everyone else in your world is trying to tear you down and you don't have supportive women and people are being, you know, just backlashing towards you, like find a supportive tribe. And that's what we've created. We've created this amazing tribe of women, and, you know, either they say something supportive and unconditionally loving, or they just don't say anything at all, which is fine. So it's like there's just this constant support and love in the space that we've created. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be everywhere. Unfortunately, it's not, you know, but find that space. And if you're craving that, then, you know, you're welcome to come into our space that we've created, because that's what it's there for.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll post a link to our group underneath this video too, if you're not a part of the Rising 2 tribe. It's an amazing tribe. And just the women that we've already been connected with so far has been absolutely just so much grateful, energy around that. Like, it's just really awesome. So, well, I think, Sarah, you got to probably run here, don't you?
Yeah, I've got little kids getting home.
That's what I figured. I was like, I don't want to keep you for the bus stop. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. For everybody watching on the replay, thank you again for watching us. And then we'll, like I said, we'll post our link to our group underneath this video. And then we also have a YouTube channel that we post all of our videos, meditation, stuff that we have done in our group on our YouTube channel. So I will also share that link so you guys can go ahead and follow us over there if you have not seen our other episodes of Up Your Friday. Or there's a couple really awesome meditations that Sarah has put on that are on our YouTube channel as well. So, yeah, we will be back next week. I think Shauna and I will be back. So, or maybe Sarah, I don't know. Who knows? It's kind of one of those things. We never know who's going to be back. So, but thank you so much. We'll see you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.